Welcome back. It's great to have you here because we've got a really interesting job on today. That is to make a whopping big sword with a wolf's head motif on the pommel. This thing is going to be massive. The last head I forged was this human head years ago, and I had so much fun. And at last, we've got a great opportunity to try and forge this canine skull out of solid steel, use it as a pommel on this enormous sword that I have been asked to make by today's video sponsor, Pearl Abyss, and the new Crimson Desert game. I'm going to fire up the induction heater and try and forge a wolf's head. Forging a wolf's head is going to be every bit as complicated as you could possibly imagine. Not going to be a very straightforward task. Now, fortunately, there is a great video on YouTube that describes the forging of a wolf's head or a dog's head by Darrell Nelson. Darrell Nelson is the king of animal heads. Like, he has perfected everything from bear's heads to wolf heads to, oh my goodness, an incredible number of different types of heads. I actually had a great privilege of visiting his workshop maybe 15 years ago, and he very kindly showed me around and taught me how to forge like a full-bodied horse. But Abana, the Artist Blacksmithing Association of North America, has compiled some of these tutorials on their YouTube channel, which I highly recommend, because that is going to serve as the inspiration that I need. What we're looking at here is a little bit of a rough preform. I need to work out the proportions for how far to go. And what we're trying to make, that open-mouthed wolf's head on the bottom of a grey wolf's sword, is a much more extreme posture than the wolf's head example from Darrell Nelson that we can see in that video. So we're going to have to make some changes, and there's invariably going to be a lot of feel required to pull this off along the way. But I'm also hoping that a little bit of this stuff might help as well. So, how close is that? Kind of close. Big question is here, would these proportions work for a dog or a wolf? You can imagine this would be the brow of them. There'd be some eyes right about there. Is that enough for a snout, especially in that split open mouth position? Wow, no, need a knife for that. It does help that I spend a lot of time looking at my dog that doesn't look too dissimilar to a wolf, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're going for, eh? I reckon the snout isn't long enough, but I also think we need a little bit more of a pronounced brow. We need to use a lot of material to make these teeth, and I think that's going to help. So a little bit more brow and a little bit longer. Make holding it a little bit easier. I think I'm going to start rounding out the top of the snout a little bit. I think we've got a good amount of the material that we need there, kind of roughly positioned. It's quite flat across the top here, but obviously a dog has, you know, a radius on the edge of their snout. Do a little bit of that, shall we? A little bit more like the end of a dog's nose.
Looks like the end of a pig's nose to me.
Did you just make a pig noise? That does not look like a pig's nose. I'm going to switch to a different coil on the induction heater. This is just a little bit too small a diameter, and the little corners, the edges of the steel are heating up too quick. See if this is any better or worse. Now I'm going to start opening up the jaw some. Wow. That looks nothing like the drawing so far. I'm going to start driving this in here. On the wolf's head we're trying to replicate, it looks like it has a little bit of a gullet, you know? The cheeks come out quite far forwards. And I think I'm going to achieve that by driving a punch in down its throat.
Hang on, you're making a wolf's head?
What do you think I'm making?
It looks like the mouth of a hippo now.
Yeah! It kind of wants like dog leg back a little bit. I want to get that nose a little bit further ahead. Stretch it out some. This jaw needs to come way further back than I initially thought. Now we're getting somewhere. So now that I've got the mouth open, kind of how it needs to be, I've got to get this chin to now come back forwards. This is the part where it kind of departs from the realism of a wolf, because what we're trying to match up has this bend to that lower jaw section. So I've got to forge that angle back in there, somehow. I don't know how. Oh, come on, that was too easy. I'm gonna heat it up and come and hit right there. Kind of? No, not really. No, I need to get under it more. How can I get under it better? Aha! Oh! Tell me that's not getting close. Now I'm gonna have to pull some teeth out somehow, though. I am really liking how this is starting to look. This lower jaw is now much thicker than the upper jaw, so we're going to take off some thickness here with the grinder. And while I do that, let me tell you about Crimson Desert. It has just been released. Crimson Desert is an open-world action and adventure published by Pearl Abyss. You'll step into the role of Cliff, rebuild the Greymanes, explore the continent of Pyrewell, and forge your own combat style in a beautiful yet powerful world powered by the Black Space engine. Follow the plight of Cliff and his Greymane companions as he strives to reunite his scattered comrades. Pyrewell is a vast, war-torn continent filled with mystery, danger, and opportunity. Explore bustling towns, expansive plains, forgotten ruins, resource gathering, hunting, and other side activities. Explore at your own pace. You can even scale cliffs. They've got climbing in it. How cool! You'll find that the combat is grounded yet explosive. Use spears, swords, bows, and other weapons. Use magic abilities or take to the air. And combine attacks into dynamic, free-flowing combos. I hope that you check out Crimson Desert by clicking the link that is in the description. We really appreciate them supporting us in making this build video and sponsoring this episode. Back to it. Oh, this is really difficult. Maybe I should have just gone for like a carved wax wolf's head and then done a bronze casting, Jamie. That might have been easier. All right, let's work on our brow line a little bit. Right, how about an eye? This is the punch for making the eyes on that little fella. I have a sneaking suspicion that that eye would be a bit small on this guy. You imagine? How funny would that look? So, this is the first of what I'm sure, as we go through the forging of this head, is going to be plenty of need a tool, make a tool moments. That's a bit small. No, maybe about right. No, a bit bigger. Oh, no, my dog's got tiny little eyes. I'll be fine.
Maybe you're not making a dog.
Yeah, I'm sure a wolf doesn't have a very different sized eye than a dog, Jamie.
The thing is, you're not making a wolf either. You make it, well...
I'm making a video game rendition of a wolf.
I was about to say you're making a fantasy wolf, but wolves are fantasy.
No, they're not. Wolves exist, Jamie.
Okay. I was thinking of dire wolf.
Jamie, you're never living that one down. You're gonna have to delete the clip if you don't want that one. Ta-da!
Right, where do you guys think the eye is on this? Because I think it's that square. Alec thinks it's there in the brow. There's just no way that square is not supposed to be the eye.
Look, a dog, woof, 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 their eyes are here. Because they're predators for looking forwards.
Right.
The dog does not have its eyes, they look forwards to chase
Do dogs
things.
also have square mouths like that? No, because it's stylized.
But that's stylized for aggression, which means that if anything, the eyes should be even more laser focused forwards.
Yeah, well, that would be the case in real life, but this is not real life, this is fantasy. And that's clearly supposed to be some sort of square gemstone in the eye.
Jamie, look how ridiculous this would look if we did what you said. It would look like a dragon. I'm gonna try and stretch that nose out further. What I actually want to do is, I've been waiting for this opportunity. The t-shirt tool fund that you've all been contributing through. With the purchase of our new t-shirts, it has provided some pens. You know why, Jamie? Because this is a problem that we encountered on our barrel forging project, where I had a very challenging time keeping track of the twist rate. Well, somebody in the comments said,
"Hey Alec, why don't you find some better paint markers?"
And then I thought to myself, what is the best paint marker? And so I spent some money. £68 worth of pens in this box, Jamie. So that is the profit from 8 t-shirts that you bought, allowing us to figure out what is the best paint marker for marking on hot steel.
So that's like a tenner a pen nearly. What, you got robbed? Daylight robbery?
Well, these are proper industrial pens.
An industrial pen. I've heard it all now. I've heard it all.
I bet there are PhDs written on paint markers for hot steel. And the result is what we're looking at here. And I need to test one of these paint markers to put a line on the underside of the jaw so that I can forge a little divot. We'll save the full testing for the next installment of the barrel. But for now, I'm just so excited to play with just any of these pens. Oh, that's some goodness right there. Oh, yeah. There are pens and there are pens. Is this the latter? Whoa, that's thick.
It looks like a pen to me.
See if you can see the paint mark as it heats up. Oh, that's pretty good, mate. Look, it's withstanding a red heat, orange heat. The paint mark is still there. Oh, that worked awfully. It's now onto the ears, and for that, we need another tool. Here's the plan. I come in behind the eye, chisel down, lift up, getting us
A horse head.
pointy ears. No, I think a horse head would be the other way, wouldn't it? Look at a Brian Brazil horse head here for a second. See, look. An original Brian Brazil 3D horse head. The ears come from the back. Dog's ears come forward. I wonder if I should do a little neck behind it. See right here? This is all very thick and chunky. And obviously it might need to taper down for it to meet the handle somewhat nicely. A little taper down. I think I should do that before I do the ears. You nice and warm, Jamie?
All warmed up, yeah.
All right, here we go. Pretty good? Yeah, a bit harder. Let's hope this makes it look angry, not just confused. A dog's ears, like this, is one thing. Like that, very confused. That is looking pretty cool. I think I'm gonna get in there with a ball punch next. If I take something like that, I can make some of the hollow of a dog's ear. I'm having a whale of a time. This is a great way to spend some time here in the forge. Oh, yes! I love it! I am so excited with how this is going. I want to try and make it look like the lips are curled back a little bit and the teeth are exposed. The material I'm working on is so small that I think it's going to be easy to heat it in place now. Now I can take the pliers and forge out the teeth and make them longer. Forging with pliers! Oh, I don't like those noises. Oh, I don't like those noises.
Stop doing it then.
Yeah! The mouth is done. I now want to make the expression a bit angrier. I think the eyes are a bit too friendly and curious. One last touch. You know what it needs, Jamie? It needs the old touch mark. I'm gonna go right under here. I'm so happy. That is awesome. I'm blooming thrilled with that. It's not an exact replica, but I'm pretty thrilled. Pretty bloomin' thrilled. And with that, we've got a whole bloomin' greatsword to make. So let's go find some steel. Have a look at this. You remember Emil at Granfors-Brook and just how much they use Granfors-Brook steel all around the workshop? Well, he very kindly sent me a pallet load of their proprietary Granfors-Brook steel. And oh my goodness, I think this stuff is gonna be absolutely perfect for our sword. All right, there is one rather large sword. He's a chunky monkey. That's gonna be exciting. Right, I've normalized it after forging, hopefully reduced the grain size a little bit. The blade is just under 1 meter long. What I'm gonna do now is mark out the profile, including the point on the end, and it'll then be onto the grinding room. All right, everything is profiled and I've begun grinding in the fuller details here at the base of the blade. The next step is going to be working on the actual bevels. You'll see the cross-section of this sword is very flat with a very short bevel and it's quite thick. The result is this thing is super heavy. Even just grinding these little fullers here, I was getting a proper bicep pump. You can tell I haven't been spending enough time in the gym. Blue dye them along the edges and get it scribed up and ready to grind. Ow! That's still very hot. Actually, no. No, I've changed my mind. We need 3 triangle punch marks for it to line up with the original. I gotta make a triangular punch. The beast has been rough ground. Now we've got to think about hardening it. Now remember, this is made out of Gransful steel, so it's a 0.55% carbon steel. It's got a little bit of extra vanadium, but ultimately it is a water-quenching steel. But even then, I'm a little bit nervous about the idea of actually water-quenching a sword. This feels terrifying. But the plan is going to be as follows. In order to harden this steel, we're going to pass it through these induction coils straight into the water. You might think this is a crazy harebrained idea, but in fact, this is a similar process as to how a lot of material is hardened in industry. Induction hardened bar, I'm sure you've heard about it, or induction hardened shafts. The workpiece gets passed through the induction coils straight into a stream of water. It's usually how they do it in industry. We're gonna give it a try, straight through the coils, into the tube of water for a quench. Okie doke. Didn't turn the machine on. Probably won't work without being turned on, will it? Here we go. Yes! Oh, it's going so well. That's terrifying. I think it worked, but in the future I'd need about 10 times more water. It's got a little bit of a warp in it, but that could be 10 times worse. I'm happy. Well, that was bloomin' fun. Monster of a blade. I'm so excited that I got the opportunity to forge this wolf's head. If it wasn't for the fact that it's probably going to be years before I make another dog or wolf's head, I would have learned a lot of really good things to take to the next one. Special thank you to Crimson Desert for sponsoring this video. This is Grey Wolf's sword, and you can go play with it in-game by clicking the link that is in the description below. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye.